Hello and welcome to This Week in Startups. Today we have Rich Skrenta, who is the founder of Blekko, the search engine. We're going to take some questions on the Ask Jason segment, and of course Tyler will provide his wonderful insights to all of us. All that and more right now on This Week in Startups.
That's what it's all about, man. They said money is the root of all evil. What? Funny how it feeds my people. Yeah. We ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you. Yeah. Money is the root of all evil. What? Funny how it feeds my people. Yeah. We ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you.
Hello everybody, welcome to another This Week in Startups. Yes, well, we're still coming down off the high of the launch conference 2 weeks later, and what an amazing event it was. Today we've got a great show. One of my old friends, Rich Skrenta, is on the program, and I'll introduce him in a minute. But boy, what good timing to talk about Blekko and search and all the search changes that have occurred in terms of quality, and of course, you know, we're big impacted by that. We're giving away these twist bags. Let me show those bags. We have one of those. Oh, that's a beautiful bag. So if you would like to win one of those bags, all you have to do is at some point during the show or while you're driving down the 405 listening. A lot of people tell me they listen to the show when you're driving. So when you're driving, just take out your phone, hold up your iPhone right in front of you there while you're driving down the 405 in your augmented reality Twitter account, and then just tweet, "I love," at Squarespace or one of the other sponsors for sponsoring This Week in Startup. And Squarespace, thank you guys for providing us with flawless service for the Launch.is site. What an amazing product Squarespace is. 24-hour support, full-featured iPad app, which actually I haven't tried the iPad app because I haven't really been using my iPad. I had a weird thing with the iPad where I fell in love with it and then I just stopped using it because the new MacBook Air came out. But I'm going to try that iPad app when the iPad 2 comes out. And the recently updated iPhone app. Go to squarespace.com/twist and get a 14-day free trial with no obligation. I think that means they don't ask you for your credit card and all that kind of stuff. But boy, the website looks beautiful, and they have these incredible templates, and it's like everything in a box. You just easily get your website running. You use it for some stuff, I think.
I do use it a lot, yeah, and they have the scaling all figured out. Like, you don't have to, you can get every tech blog in the universe hitting you simultaneously. It'll take it, though. Yeah.
What's up with the voice? Did you lose your voice?
No,
you getting a little sick?
I'm post-conference crashing.
Yeah, always after the conference, you're just like, it's the postpartum.
It's the launch and then the crash.
Exactly. Yeah, abort. But anyway, Squarespace.
That's a great name for a follow-up conference.
Yeah, that should be we should call the dim sum,
yes, abort.
Yeah, the post dim sum. But anyway, I can't say enough great things about Squarespace. It's easy to use. I actually built the first website on it. I had some designers come in and spruce it up, and they did a great job with the group. Yeah. But the group had never, Was that
your testament? Like, so easy, even Jason Galligan can use it?
Well, I mean, I'm busy, and so I just threw it together. I literally was at home one night. I got full tilt poker in one window. Yes. I got Squarespace in the other. I'm literally multi-tabling 4 tables. Yeah. It's probably about $10,000 in action on 4 tables. And I'm using Squarespace to build out my site. So if you're a degenerate gambler like me, and you're gambling on full tilt, and you're building your website, you can just do that simultaneously.
Great for gamblers.
I was just thinking, I would like to just play poker all day while I'm working, because I'm pretty efficient in multitasking. Yeah. But then I was just like, oh my God, everybody's going to see me playing poker all day, and they're going to think I'm not CEOing.
You'd be surprised. Like, when I was living in Thailand, there was a lot of guys who did nothing but play online poker on their laptops.
Yeah, I know. Those are the guys I'm up against. Yeah. It's tough.
And they can live on $5 a day. So
I gotta say, I'm such a net positive player when I play live, and then online I'm net negative right now. Huh. I am down. Yeah. It's driving me crazy, but I'll get there. It's a different game online.
It is. Yeah.
And Squarespace is an awesome product. Thank you to Squarespace. Squarespace, great. I have to come up with a tagline. I need a little song for Squarespace. I don't have a MailChimp thing or a DNA Mail thing.
You could do a Square dance.
Yeah, I could Vogue. You can play the Vogue song, and I'll just Vogue over here.
One of the Squarespace staff launched their company at launch.
Wait a second, a Squarespace staffer was moonlighting and launched a company?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't get him in trouble, don't say who it was.
No, it's known.
Who?
FTW.
FTW is a Squarespace guy moonlighting?
Uh-huh.
Oh man, that's pretty cool. That was a good site. They did very well. Okay, Rich Skrenta is the former CEO and co-founder of Topics, which was acquired in 2005, which then I think they acquired back, and they're blowing it out again. He was the co-founder and CEO of NewWho, which was acquired by Netscape, which was awesome. We'll get into that. Blah, 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 blah. Previously worked at Sun Microsystems. Okay, geek cred. That's awesome. He just came back from Tahoe last week. I have no idea why that's in here. Blekko is now reaching over 1 million, has broken the 1 million searches a day thing, which is a pretty big deal because, I mean, having done human-powered search and, like, trying to get people to switch search engines is incredibly hard.
I thought you were joking. It actually does say he just...
It does say in the notes. I don't know. Producer Rob.
Wow.
He must be reading his Twitter stream and then... Anyway, Ashton Kutcher just invested $200K in the thing, blah, blah, blah. They've raised over $24 million. They launched, founded in 2007, much like Mahalo, launched to the public on November 10th, 2010. Whoa, 3 years in gestation. Welcome to the program, Rich.
Hi, thanks for having me.
All right, so congratulations on finally getting this thing out the door in November. Begs the question, what did you guys do for 3 years? Why does it take 3 years, explain to us, to build a search engine?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. We, when we went to pitch Blekko and we were like, coding it up, we had people say, you guys are completely insane. You're taking on Google and search. What are you thinking? And then we had some other people saying, what took so long? So, which is it? We thought it would take about 2 years to build a competitive search engine. We think that I'm a big fan of launch early, launch often, get something out the door. But we thought that the bar for the minimum viable product was actually higher in search. And if we came out with something that wasn't good, we just get laughed off the stage and we pull a cool and we'd be dead. So it took us 3 years to actually get to what we felt was a minimum viable product.
And so, what was it like dealing with your investors? Was there massive? Because I think we founded Mahalo and Blekko sort of the same time frame. We launched 6 months after we raised our money, and I can imagine, like, God, 3 years. What is it like at the board meetings? Are you having board meetings every 2 months, and do the investors put pressure on you, like, get this thing out there, or are they just playing with it, telling you, how do you manage that as a CEO?
Our investors have been great. They're very patient. They understand that, building a search engine is a technology play. It's not, a quick flip. I've done those, right? NewWho, which became the Open Directory. I think we coded that up in about 2 months. We launched it in June of 1998, and we sold it in October of 1998. So, it doesn't get any more, flippy than that. But the site was done. There just wasn't a lot of code to it. It was all about a network effect and getting an editor base, building up a big web directory. Topics took longer. Topics was about 9 months start to finish to code up. And then we put it out there and we kept working on it. But search is like, it's like building the Boeing 787. It's a complicated problem. Search is hard.
Yeah, and you're the first guys to build a search engine since, I guess, Cool and SearchMe are the other two who are actually doing indexing, correct?
There was Wikisearch, and then if you go way back, there was Cosmix. But they're really, if you look back...
But Cosmix wasn't doing, like, search, right? They were doing more topic pages and syndicating other people's searches. They weren't crawling the web.
They've pivoted it into topic pages, but they're, if you go way back to their original launch, they were actually crawling and indexing the web as well.
Right. So let's see. Jimmy Wales gave up after like 6 months of indexing the web. Cool gave up after maybe 18 months. Cosmix after a year or two probably, and SearchMe after about 5 years of doing it, right? They were in that, they were trying for like 4 or 5 years, I think, to make it work out. 3 out of 4 wiped out, actually 2 out of 4 wiped out, 2 pivoted into content. Does that mean we can anticipate you starting a how-to site soon, or why have you guys been able to actually, 30 million searches after 3 months is pretty impressive. What do you think the secret sauce is? Why does it work for you and not the other guys?
I don't know. We wanted to make a differentiated product. When we looked at the market, we said, boy, search makes so much money online. The CPMs are $50 to $100. And, we were very, very successful with monetization of topics. We had a local news site for small markets, put your zip code in, get news. And we were doing run of site about $3 to $4 CPM. We were even getting $1 CPM on forum page views, which is just ridiculous, right? Knight Ridder was getting negative CPMs on their forum page views. So we're doing really well.
Wait a second. How do you get a negative CPM? They take $1 from you every time you.
Yeah, they outsourced their forum system to a provider that charged them per page, basically, and they didn't have any ads on it. So they were actually, they had negative CPM on these page views, and we're like, well, that's not good. You guys should do something about this.
Yeah.
But search is $50 to $100 CPM. You go to the search box and you type in, Palo Alto Acura. That's a lead. It's not even an ad. That's, car dealers will pay $10 a click for that. Palo Alto real estate, $6 a click. I mean, you understand the search market. It's pretty valuable. But nobody's been able to attract audience in, the past decade. Nobody's launched a search product that actually got people to come and use it. And I think we're actually the first to do that. We got the launch pop on November 1st, right? We got all the press, big press that was on TV, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, got the big coverage. The question is, week 2, does anybody come back? And, we went down, of course, after that pop.
The trough of sorrow.
That's right. And, and then we went into the holidays. We launched in November. In December, half the month, everyone's gone. So the big question was, okay, January, what's going to happen? Is anyone going to come back and actually use Blekko? Or, as you say, are we going to have to pivot into a Q&A site or something? But fortunately, people came back. They said, hey, we like Blekko. There's searches people can do on Blekko that they can't do anywhere else. /date, get high quality health searches /health. Just they can come make their own slash tags. They can curate the web, make their own custom search experience. And, our traffic's come back up. It's come back up to the launch level that we saw that first week.
Okay, so let's actually talk about the product. You're crawling the entire web, which we know is a huge task. It's ginormous, right? Is that the word I'm looking for? Gigunda?
I like ginormous. Yeah.
Ginormous. It's a ginormous problem. No, I mean, first of all, how many servers does it take to crawl the web? Like, is it a 1,000 server problem or a 100,000 server problem?
It's about 1,000 server problem. We don't have 1,000 servers. We have 700 servers. And so that limits the size of the index we can have. We don't have a huge index. We have about 3 billion pages. We try to rank them. So as we crawl, we're going to crawl the best pages first. And we are biased towards English, towards US content. So we're not as deep. If you're looking for, a 0 rank German blog, we might not have that post. But we do have basically the navigational answers for anything you could search for.
Right. And so 700 servers, and is it a very large amount of bandwidth to do it as well?
It's a couple gigabits of bandwidth. I mean, it's like you can't do a search engine with Y Combinator kind of funding. You can't do it, on EC2. It's just cost prohibitive. You need, 700, 1,000 servers, 2,000 servers. I think SearchMe had 3,000 servers to build their index, and Cool had about 2,500 servers. And, literally the first step to building a search engine is to copy the entire internet onto your data center, into your hard disks. And then you can start running MapReduce jobs against it, try to analyze it and say, hey, is there something we can come up with here that's going to be interesting? But that's a daunting challenge. That's $5 to $10 million in hardware. But when we looked at it, we talked to VCs and said, some of them are scared about, going into the search market. But this size of investment, $5 to $10 million in hardware, $25 million in funding for Blekko, that's the sweet spot for what VC should traditionally be investing in, given the economics, right? It's not $15K of funding from Paul Graham, but it's also not, hey, let's go build a new chip fab or let's do drug discovery, right? It's going to take 15 years and we're going to go through FDA stage 3 trials and, that stuff takes forever.
These are the deals that people say are gone now. Like you can't find the $25 million investment thing. You can only put $1 million in something for 5% or 10% now. So they can't own 30% of a deal or 40% or whatever it is they need to own. So let's talk about the specific features of the search engine. I have it open here. What's a great example of a health search? I just type in a certain type of cancer /health.
Just do like a cure for headaches. It's a great demo query. And you can try this on Google too. Even post farmer update, they've got a lot of what we call content farms or spammers, not health sites.
Right. And so I do cure for headaches /health, and we have a vertical search that I see NHS, WebMD, MedicineNet, a bunch of sites that somebody has put into the /health group.
That's right. And on launch day, we had a guy apply from the public to help us edit /health. And we said, well, we're really concerned about keeping the quality on these health sites very high. So we're like, who is this guy? We looked at his bio, and he said he actually is a medical librarian at the University of Maryland Medical System. and we're like, wow, this is what this guy does for his job. Let's admit this guy, and he's been adding more sites to our /health. He actually made a /hospital tag for us as well.
So if I do a cure for headaches and I don't have the /health on it, it seems to know that it's a health search anyway, right?
That's right. That's right. We call that auto-firing the /tag. And what we're doing is we're actually running the query twice. We run it the first time, and we look at the first 10,000 results that came back, and we can classify the query. If we see a whole bunch of health sites in the results, we'll say, hey, you did a health query. What if we applied /health? Would there still be enough material left? Can we do that and improve the results? So we'll use sites like wrongdiagnosis.com that have done a really good job of SEOing themselves into health results. They go for typos, they go for misspellings. They're basically covering every kind of query you can do. We see them in the results. That's a signal that you did a health query, right? You can't make a list of all the health queries. There's too many. It's an infinite set. Right. But we see wrong diagnosis. We see WebMD in the results. All these sites. We say, okay, the /health /tag could make this search better. Let's turn it on automatically because you might not know we have the /tag, and we want to improve regular queries too.
Right. And I can also use a /Flickr. So if I was looking for Bob Dylan and I do /Flickr, it basically fires image search because obviously Flickr is image related, and it gives me just Bob Dylan on Flickr.
That's right.
Super simple.
Yeah, these are API /tags. Basically, no matter how much stuff Blekko has, no matter how many cool /tags or how much of the web we crawl, there's always going to be cool data that's external to us. And we don't want you to have to leave the search box that we're providing to go over and get it. I mean, Flickr is a great image search. A lot of times you'll be on, Google, and you'll be using Google Images, and you'll be hunting for like something to put in your, in a presentation. And you know what? Flickr is actually a better place to look for that material. You'll get higher quality pictures. It's a cleaner set. You can say, hey, I only want Creative Commons stuff. I want to stay legit. Just show me stuff I can legally use. Yeah. Flickr lets you do that. But the effort to leave that search box and go over to flickr.com, right? And sometimes it's prohibitive and you don't do it. So you stay with the, with the sort of the junkier service. And we said, well, what if we just let people basically drop into any service they want? So I can do Blekko /date to search for, news about Blekko on Blekko. I can do Blekko /Twitter and pop into Twitter without having to go over to their site.
Now, what I'm just doing I'm doing my ego search, Calacanis /people. What does that do? Does it? How does it?
People, yeah, /people is kind of a funky tag. It's I don't know what it would do for Calacanis /people. You could try something like bioinformatics /people. Basically, we're looking for an association between the inbound links on a page and people's names. And so it's people search, but it's not from LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter. It's people search from the entire web. And, and then we go and we goose the titles to put the person's name into it. So it's kind of neat. If you're a recruiter looking for people, often it's a good way to go data mine.
I just did PHP programmer /people, and it came up with a bunch of stuff. So why didn't Google add this sort of / stuff? I mean, they do have operators, but they've never actually gotten into vertical search. And I think the argument I've heard from them is this is unnecessary to do this. There's a small percentage of people who want vertical search. We already know vertical search engines didn't work because there was a whole bunch of them in Web 1.0. People just want something easy and simple, and we can figure out the query from there. So how do you answer that argument when you hear it?
Well, yeah, you could say it might be appropriate for Google to to take that position. They're making the mass market product. They've sort of got this one-size-fits-all solution for everyone. Come to Google, type in your query. They're going to read your brain, give you something of everything. But we were trying to differentiate off that. And we said, the first million people that show up at Blekko.com after we launch, it's not grandma in Ohio, right? These tend to be advanced users. There's people that watch This Week in Startups, right? Those are the people that are going to come. And this is a technically sophisticated audience. And a lot of times they know what they want, right? When you go searching, you understand the nature of the web. There's like Wikipedia, Amazon, there's RSS feeds, there's people's home pages, there's domain parks. You understand all the structure of the web. But when you go to Google to address that content, you're adding and removing English keywords. And that's a terribly imprecise way to do it. If instead you basically had a simple query language, so you could say /date or /date equals 2006, or /health or /people or /RSS. It lets you very precisely do subselections on the web. And this has become more important because the web just keeps getting bigger and bigger. PageRank worked great when the web was 1 billion pages and all the links had been created by humans. But the web is 100, 200 billion pages now. And most of the links aren't created by individuals anymore. They're being created by machines, by Markov chain spam generators, by content farm labor that's outsourced to low wage countries, and people need more tools to basically zero in on what they want.
So let's get into the content farm upgrade. You guys were early on blocking content farms. Thankfully, Mahalo wasn't one of them. And actually, we had accidentally blocked you because we didn't know what your crawler was. And I told my guys, like, hey, unblock that. But I just did a search for how to play Hotel California /YouTube, and you correctly came up with the Mahalo page. So I actually think, Blekko, I'm going to endorse it right now. I wonder if I do it without the /video if we come up as number one. But let's talk about that. Let's talk about content farms, low quality content. What do you think about their latest moves, Google, to just annihilate a whole category, sweeping change like that?
Well, it was certainly good PR for them. They've been getting beaten up in the press, since, I don't know, for the last couple months about the content farm issue. And, there's the New York Times story about Decor My Eyes, where, this guy's out there making threatening phone calls to customers precisely so he can get negative ratings, which give him more page rank, and he gets more traffic from it. And that guy, I think he's in jail now. He got arrested. And Google, I think they had to respond, but the update, to our eyes, it wasn't that dramatic. They said 12% of their queries had changed, but in some cases it was just, 1 and 2 traded places. You had eHow and answer bag, and now it's answer bag and eHow, and they count that as a changed result page. But, all the same results are still there. Maybe, bazillions went from number 2 to number 3 or further down the page, but it's still on page 1. They shuffled the deck, but all the cards are still the same.
Yeah. So how do you determine in your mind what is a content farm and what's not? Because it seems like you have things like associated content, Mahalo even, and I can sort of explain our qualifications, but I'm more interested in yours, obviously. How we qualify stuff. But you have something like associated content where you have, like passionate individuals, but maybe it's a real mixed bag. But they're all in America, native speakers of of English, I hope, but I don't know. And then you have like eHow, which is clearly not even looking at the results coming out in most cases. You have Suite 101, which is a sort of non-experts but passionate. How do you determine that?
Well, it's an editorial call. There's a difference between the New York Times and the New York Post, and there's a difference between the New York Times and eHow. And, you have to say, well, what does the page look like? Why was it created? Why is this content generated? If you look at a site like eHow, they're basically taking phrases that come out of the search query stream. So you can go to ISPs like United Online or Comcast, and you can actually buy user queries. They have taps on web surfing, and they can look at say, well, these are the searches people were doing on Google. Here's the whole data set, and then sort that by expected revenue, by expected CPM, by looking at what ads are bid on it, and say, well, here's the list of everything we want to write about. Now let's put that out onto Mechanical Turk or onto our own labor force and pay people to, quote, write articles about this. And they're not paying, ex-journalists who are writing high-quality content. They're not paying subject experts. They're paying people who basically cut and paste stories from, whatever they can find on the web. And they're paying very low wages, like 6 cents for a 150-word article about, a medical topic. Where really, if you have, you're on, the search engine searching for like osteoblastoma, right? Would you rather read an article by an MD at the Mayo Clinic or by somebody who wrote the article for 5 cents who doesn't have an MD, they're working in Eastern Europe or in India or something, and they just cut and pasted it together to make $1 a day? It's almost reprehensible that content's being served up. It's not subject specific. There's no focus to eHow. It's all over the map. How to build a brick wall, how to tie your shoelaces, how to make a roast chicken, osteoblastoma. It's not good content.
You're not afraid to make the editorial call, whereas Google will not make an editorial call. They'll say, we've tweaked the algorithm, and this device, the algorithm, will magically figure out what's quality and what's not. Do you buy that when they say that, like, oh my God, the algorithm did this? Or is it pretty clear that they're also making an editorial decision, but maybe afraid to say that?
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, of course it's editorial, right? The algorithm they're running today isn't the same algorithm they were running last Monday. And it's not the same algorithm they were running in 2007. Every day, Google engineers come in and they type on their keyboards, and the millions of lines that make up Google are different. They look at the SERPs and they say, we don't like these results. We want them to change. Let's change it. And they change it by, tuning constants in the search engine, by writing lines of code, and also by using human trainers. They have thousands of people that see searches, score them on a 1 to 5 scale, vote up, vote down, and rankings change as a result of this. That, as a whole, is an editorial system. And it's sort of, if they're saying, well, it's not us, it's the algorithm, but they make the algorithm. And the algorithm's not some magic 20-line, Excalibur they pulled out of the stone. It's basically a collection of these kinds of heuristics, these rules and weights that they define. And we said, that's a very indirect and sort of obfuscated process. Let's be different. Let's just be completely upfront and honest that search is editorial. You type in a query, how to make a roast chicken. And you know what? There's only 10 results on the page. There's not millions. People are going to look at 10 results on the page. And in fact, most of the traffic goes to 1, 2, and 3. So you're going to put up 3 sites for any query. And you could say, well, let's roll the dice and let this very complicated algorithmically tuned system pick that. Or we could say, let's make a list of the top recipe sites. And if we can tell you did a recipe query, let's put you in a /recipes, because you don't want to get a recipe from eHow. You'd rather get it from, Bitten Blog on New York Times or something, or Epicurious, a good site where somebody actually made the chicken.
So in a way, we've had this massive gaming of the system over the last couple of years from the content farms. Now they're reaping what they sow, and the emperor has no clothes. The 2 things I heard from you that I wanted to key off of was the intent of why the content was made and the expertise contained within it. These are 2 of the driving forces, no?
Yeah. I mean, editorially speaking, I think if you have a passionate, even an amateur, but somebody who's passionate, who's an expert about the subject, that's the best person who can create the content. And when Google optimizes their system, they'll pick a random query and show it to one of their raters, and then say, well, does this page look good, 1 to 5? And the problem with that is that person, first of all, they're not a subject expert, and second of all, they didn't do the query themselves. You have to have the intent, right? You have to say, either I made this chicken because I wanted to make it, or I know a lot about making chicken. And that's where you get the quality content. If you're just farming this stuff out to basically, low-wage generalists, you're not going to get as good material. Double
intent in is what you're doing. You have intent on one side, indexing things from quality producers of content in a vertical, but then you also have intent with the / tag and who manages it. It's a pretty brilliant idea.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's sort of an old idea at this point. We started it at the Open Directory, where we were looking at Yahoo way back in like 1997, 1998, and Yahoo, it used to mean search. It was that verb that Google has become today. But they got distracted, right? They started doing all this other stuff. They bought, broadcast.com. They had co-branded Visa cards. They had a magazine. They had their logo on mice and keyboards and fries. It was, ridiculous. And their directory was rotting. It was, 8% dead links when we measured it in 1998. And you'd submit a site to Yahoo and they wouldn't put it in, right? They just couldn't keep up.
Unless you gave them $495 to fast track it.
That's right. And we said, hey, let's come up with a better model to go build a web directory. I mean, the web directory is pretty cool. And we said, well, let's hire people to go make a directory, but that's all we'll do. And, I didn't have any money. So, we were broke. So we said, well, we'll hire people, somewhere else, kind of like, I guess, reminiscent of the eHow model. We'll hire somebody in Ohio or maybe in India or something. And we said, well, we still don't have any money. We can't do that. And then we came up with the idea to just let people do it for free, just to ask them, Tom Sawyer, paint the fence, come edit my archaeology category. And it was like magic. The guy that signed up to edit the archaeology category on Nuhu said he was a university professor at the University of Arizona. And he's like, I've been curating this set of links, and I give it out to my students, but I want to put it into Nuhu.com. The model worked great. We made a directory 6 times bigger than Yahoo in a much shorter amount of time. It was 0.25% dead links instead of 8% dead links. And ultimately, Jimmy Wales took that same model that we pioneered and went and built the world's best encyclopedia. But nobody's applied this to algorithmic web search. But we need to at this point. You can't have 1,000 raters at a big company that don't tell you what's going on, cleaning up the whole web. There's a way to involve the public, be completely open and transparent about the process, and get orders of magnitude more participation. So that's what we're trying to do with the / tags.
Now, I see that it let me log in with my Facebook Social search, a lot of people have talked about this. What exactly is the point? How does it work?
Well, when we look at Facebook, we say, geez, 600 million users, and they're all running around the web clicking like on stuff they like. Hotel websites, restaurant websites, news websites, shopping sites. And this like data is actually really valuable for web ranking. And if you take like a random URL on a random website, the value of that, the signal in it for ranking, has really plummeted recently. There's just, you can't trust URLs you found on the web. But a random like on Facebook is probably from a person. And if you limit it to just the people you're connected to, you probably don't friend a bunch of spammers, right? And if one of your friends is spamming, you click mute on them and delete them from your newsfeed because you don't want to see that stuff on Facebook. So you basically are curating this set. You and your friends are basically editorially defining a sphere of the web that you think is good. And Facebook's being really cool. They let you plug into this as a developer through their Graph API. So we went over and talked to them. We got access to the Graph API. And if you sign in a Blekko through Facebook, we'll pull out your likes as well as your friends' likes. And even for somebody who doesn't use Facebook a lot, if you're connected to 50 or 100 people, this will be tens of thousands of URLs.
Yeah, for me it's 44,000, and I'm doing a search right now. Just the word what, and then /likes, and getting Seth Godin and Buzz Machine and a bunch of other things that I guess my friends have done. And if I were to type in my own name /likes, and actually your site's pretty fast, huh?
Yeah, we try.
I see a bunch of This Week in Startups, Fast Company, TechCrunch, RevNews. Clearly this works, and this is the thing, I've heard from sources, obviously Facebook is going to launch a search engine, and Google, the search engine, is going to launch a social network. And the question is, who does it first, right? My bet has always been Facebook will get out the door with their search engine in 2011, or right when they IPO, because that will be the thing that pushes the IPO over the hump. So I think they launch search a month before the IPO or a month after. One of those two. We'll see when they save it for. So they actually gave you permission to do the search engine. They, in fact, should create a search engine based on the social graph. But you haven't put this on the top level yet, have you?
On the top? What do you mean by on the top?
If I go to just Blekko and do a search, it doesn't take the social graph and sort of push that into the top level searches I'm doing. I have to do /likes if I want to get it.
We will personalize it. If you just do the query like San Francisco sushi by itself. Don't put /likes on it, and scroll down the results and see if if any of your friends have actually liked one of the results. You'll see that underneath it. So we're not restricting the set of sites to the ones you're liking, but if your friends have liked a site, we'll show it. And we also have a button in the upper right of the page that if you click on it, it'll sort by the number of likes. So you can put the sites that your friends have liked at the top.
Got it. I see. So if I do the sort /likes, yeah, I see. Sites, yeah, this is Eno Sushi, liked by Robert Walker, Scoble, Peter Flint, and 84 others. Wow. So you use this is Yelp or Yelp's like data or Facebook's like data from the Yelp page, I guess.
Well, there's three different states. You could either have liked the individual URL that you're looking at.
Yeah.
You could have liked the whole site, or you could have liked another page on the same site, right? You might be looking at a product, say on Macy's.com, and your buddy liked another product somewhere else on the site, and we think that has some signal too, so we include it. But we call it out in the in the detail view that you pulled up there. You can see which of the three it is.
One of the interesting things I noticed about this is you didn't choose to actually put the images of the people. Very subtle. Was that a speed decision? Keeping the page fast, or a clutter decision?
It's search is sort of a it's a very tight UI. You want it to be scannable. There's a lot of constraints and expectations about what people want to see in a search result page. They want to get their data quickly, and faces are great, and we have faces on Blekko for the editors, and they're off in the in the upper right of the page. But when you're scanning down the results, it's just going to be super distracting if you've got rows and rows of people there.
Yeah, I agree. Pretty awesome. So what's next for you guys? You just churn along and try to grow the search engine organically, or are you just a takeout candidate for somebody who wants to get into search, or Are you long this? Because I know you've had some successful exits and you're trying to maybe get distribution from another partner who maybe their Google deal is coming up. What's your strategy on a business level?
We're really product focused. Blekko's pretty good, but I did a blog post right after launch where I said, I think we basically just launched the minimum viable product. Yes, it took a long time. It took 3 years, but Blekko is by no means perfect. It's not finished, and we have a lot of work to do to build out the size of the crawl, build out the core index in relevance, and also add more features around slash tags, going into other verticals. Currently, we're only auto-firing, I think, on 8 categories. We have thousands of slash tags. We would like to auto-fire on all of them. We had a guy who signed up on the first day and created a slash tag for material safety data sheets. And, I was like, what the heck is this? He put 1,200 URLs in this slash tag. It's ridiculously narrow and niche-y, but it's a commercial category. It has spam in it. His slash tag cleans it up. If you do a query that his slash tag can fix, I'd like to auto-fire that too. And this is sort of the magic of the Wikipedia model, right? We can do health and recipes and colleges and personal finance, right? That's great. Those are the big categories. But can we do thousands and thousands of auto-fires into slash tags and have those crowdsourced by the public? That's what's going to clean up the web for every category and for every language.
It's amazing. You've taken this great success with NewWho on one side and some great technical and editorial decisions in the index on the other side. Continued success with Blekko. I've been tracking it. I am incredibly impressed. If this is a minimum viable product for you, I see you guys actually attaining what nobody's attained since Google, which is I think you're actually going to get a couple points of market share, which would be tremendous, and I think make your investors very happy considering 1 percentage point of share equals something like $1 billion.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it would be very cool. Don't sell to Facebook. Go long. I know they're going to try to buy you guys. Good luck, Rich, and everybody out there, try Blekko. It's awesome.
Cool. Thanks, Jason.
Cheers. Thanks for coming on the program. What a great entrepreneur. What a great product. You're pretty impressed with it, I take it.
No doubt.
I mean, it's an impressive start.
You have to, and I think we always have, like when Cool came out and everyone, and people, I don't know what it is, but when you're trying to do search, like people just want to pounce on you. Like, and I mean, you and I know, your heart goes out to anyone who tries to do anything like that. Like I think, internally, you have to root for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, no offense to Google or whatever. I think even Google roots for them. It's like,
well, I think Google would like to have another partner. Yeah. I'd like to have another competitor or two out there because right now, when they do something like the content farm thing, people start to think, wow, Google can just change, the fate of a company so dramatically overnight. It's almost too much power for them. And there's already like a contingent of people who are bubbling up like, oh my God, antitrust and monopoly.
It's very similar to where Microsoft was at that point.
It's the exact analogy of, and when you think about it, like what, people say, oh, they have like 70% of search share. The truth is, anybody who has a content site who looks at their log files sees that of their search traffic, it's more like 85 or 90% come from Google right now, today. So I think for Google, Blekko, it would almost be like, remember when Microsoft gave Apple like
$300 million,
some huge investment to keep going, so they'd have somebody to sell Office for Mac to, and have somebody out there to point to when the government came to them. I think Google should just give them $100 million now and own 10%, and let them just do their thing. Thanks to .co. For supporting us here at This Week in Startups. We have a contest announcement. This Weekend is giving away a MacBook Air. Yes, I am giving away a MacBook Air, and I'm going to give it away.
I don't know who would use such a thing. But
who would use a MacBook Air, but Tyler Crowley. Yeah. And so go to opportunity.co to launch a great idea, buy a great domain name, and then I want you to send your idea for a website to contest@thisweekend.com. Tyler and I are going to look at all of these emails. Producer Rob's going to put it on a list like he does for these are the potential guests. He's going to give us this list. Tyler and I, on the show, are going to read the ideas.
You can see how happy the guy is in the ad.
Absolutely. Look at that guy. He is joyous.
Look at that guy.
It seems like almost like it's like the Black Swan. He's on his toe there, and he's just like, woo, I got a .co. Anyway.
You know what's cool is at the conference, 2 of the 40 companies had .cos.
Which is a trend.
Screener.co.
8%.co.
Top10.co.
Yes.
Top 10 was awesome.
Top 10
I know.
was right behind on the best design.
I know.
Almost won an award right behind Cabana.
I really like those guys.
Love the top10.co guys and screener.co, awesome. So as you can see, if 8% of the people applying already are going .co, you're going to need to go .co. And why not get yourself a MacBook Air? Who wouldn't want a MacBook Air? And I told them, if I'm giving away the MacBook Air, I want top shelf. Don't make me give away the bottom line. I want the top of the line. So they said, okay, 2.3 gigahertz Intel Core 2 Duo, 4 gigabytes of memory, and a super drive. This is the real deal. This is the most expensive one, I think. Well, how are we going to do it? We're going to do it JCal style. It's going to have to be we're going to do it Tyler Crowley style. All you have to do is buy a .co and email contest@thisweekend.com. This is a genius promotion.
It is.
It's a genius promotion that I've come up with. Jason, technically speaking, it's me, Mo3000. I came up with the idea of a contest. I know that you said it was your idea, but it's credit where credit is due. He's going to come in here. I guarantee he's there right outside the door after the show. Technically, it was your idea to do it was my idea to do a contest. You finally got your stuff together to get one going. But how easy of a contest to join? I bet you less than 100 people are going to join. We're probably going to read 25 of the domains on the air. You'll probably be able to flip the domain for $100 or $500 or $1,000 right after you buy it, because I'm going to probably say on the air that's a great domain name. So, to recap, contest@thisweekend.com. That's what the lower third should say, guys. Let's make sure we put that there about the contest. Contest@thisweekend.com. Send us your .co domain name. You have to have bought it, so send the receipt or whatever. And tell us what you're going to do on that site. That's easy. You don't have to build it. This is like pre-launch. And hey, I may wind up investing in it. I may just say that's a great idea. Here's 25 Gs.
It's been known to happen.
Stockbrokers did a great job launching at launch. Great job. That was on the air. I gave them 20 Gs.
Yep.
I might just drop 20 Gs on one of these ideas.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Wouldn't surprise anybody. But go ahead and... Oh, by the way, the contest ends on April 1st. So you have to get it in by April 1st. But we're going to be looking at the early ones earlier. So we're going to look at them as they come in. So the earlier you get it in, the better. Go buy a .co, don't you know, .co. Thank you, .co. Let's do an Ask Jason and get the heck out of here. No, because I got to do a 50-minute show. I want the show to be 50 minutes. Either news or Ask Jason, but not both. This is taking the life out of me. Oh, I got a phone call. Hold on a second. Give me a second. I got a phone call before I do the Ask Jason. Hello, who's on the phone? Am I supposed to answer the phone, guys? Yep. Okay. I've answered the call, and I am speaking with Curtis. Curtis, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Whoa. Curtis, count backwards from 5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Correct. Okay, so that's correct. Now I would like you to start the alphabet from the letter N. Go.
N, M, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
I thought it was LMNOP. He did NM. I think he got it wrong.
He accidentally did.
Have you been drinking, sir? This is a sobriety test. You have to memorize the alphabet for any letter.
This is a brilliant startup.
What?
You call us. We'll tell you if you're safe to drive.
Yeah, that would be good. Put an iPhone app that you put in, and you blow into it, and boom, it's a little piece of hardware.
No. You
do
somebody,
tests?
Yeah, and the guy's like...
Yeah, you want to take that liability?
Yeah.
All right.
And then the guy says, no, you're not safe to
You're
drive.
not good enough, right. Okay. You're calling from the 337, Curtis. Where is that?
That's in South Louisiana, the heart of Cajun country.
Wow. I think that's a first. Can we put a pin on the map? Producer Rob, I would like a map in here for next week, and I want to have pins, and Tyler will pin the location, and I want the previous Ask Jasons and Shark Tanks on their board already.
I want the Cajun country badge.
It's got to be a world. Cajun country badge, exactly. I like me some Cajun food. Yep. All right, Curtis, you have a question. We've got answers. Go ahead.
Well, I've got an idea for a website. Of course, I hope it'll turn out, to be big. And after watching episode with Groupon, y'all were talking about how other countries have already ripped that idea off.
Yes.
And so I was wondering if you go ahead and nail down my domain name in the other top internet countries.
Okay. this is a good question. I am thinking about doing Groupon.com. Should I get Groupon.Australia.gr for Greece, whatever? And the answer is, it's a lot of money. It's thousands and thousands of dollars. And chances are not all the domains are available. And if you had the .com, you're going to do just fine. Because people around the world recognize .com as the leader. So if somebody was to do the bag, just a straight up bag thing of taking Groupon.co.Australia, like these people did in Australia, they're going to be hated for all time. Like, I hate these people in Australia who did that. You know, the people in Australia did that. And they can't launch there because these idiots in Australia launched a trademark for Groupon in Australia. Like, total bag move.
Trademark pirates.
They're trademark pirates. They might as well be Somalian.
It's like the Somalian pirates.
It's like the Somalian pirates. You have this website, you go around the Horn of Australia. Everybody in Australia, to all my Australia Twist listeners, you should tell these people over on Twitter that they're D-bags and they should give the name back and they should give it the trademark. That is your Geary right now. Anybody who does something like that is a straight up D-bag, period. I'm dead serious. And then to go do the trademark, double D-bag. And then they're trying to hold them ransom, like buy our Groupon clone. Everybody in Australia should protest the name of this Groupon clone. Let me just type this, Groupon clone, Australia. Bear with me, folks. Tyler, fill the air.
Well, it makes me wonder if they're going to offer the domain. At least they're going to give them half off, right? They're gonna
half off the domain name,
right.
Yes. Offer me. Is it offer me? Wait a second. I could just do this by saying Australia site Groupon.com. Australia clone Groupon. Why Groupon isn't in Australia. Dated January 4th. Blah, 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 blah. The worldwide proliferation of Groupon clones has been well documented, but none is more sinister than Noop Oregon. Oh, Scoopon. Scoopon, created by the brothers Gabby and Hezi Lebovich, has been making life difficult for us.
Come on, Gabby.
Gabby.
Get your crap straight.
Exactly.
Gabby.
Gabby and Hezi Lebovich.
Come on, Hezi.
Just kill yourself. This is, you know when I say on Twitter, kill yourself? I am not advocating suicide. I just want to make that clear. Yeah. Somebody wrote me back, oh my God, some member of my family advocated, you know, like, you're advocating suicide. No, okay. If I tell somebody to kill themselves, that is a joke, and I am very sorry that a member of your family killed themselves or you've been impacted by suicide. I know that's a terrible thing. But, like, it's a colloquialism. Like, it's not directed at you, you know?
Yeah, when you say blow me, you don't mean blow me.
I think that's probably got to be bleeped.
I don't know that it does.
Anyway, it doesn't literally mean that,
right.
Correct. Right, it's a colloquialism. Anyway, to these people, Scoop On, I want everybody in Australia right now to tweet, Scoop On and Gabby and Hezi Lebovich, kill yourself for being D-bags.
It's not very becoming of the Leboviches.
Can you, the family of Lebovich must be...
Mr. Lebovich is probably...
We should call their... Can I get these guys on the phone?
Let's get their mom on the phone.
I want to call Gabby's mom right now. Curtis is on the phone? Who's Curtis?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
sorry. Somebody's texting me like Curtis is on the phone over here. Like, yeah, I understand he's on the phone. I'm the host of the show. I understand. I'm trying to make a point with him. Curtis, do you understand my point?
I think I do.
Okay. So the point is, you may wind up in the fringe case having a D-bag like Gabby and Hezi Lebovich, you know, try to hold you for ransom. In which case, you'll get the CEO, if you're a successful company, you'll be able to put this public pressure on them anyway. That's a worst case scenario. So maybe buy it for all the markets, but I didn't buy Mahalo in all markets. I didn't buy This Week in all markets because you have the .com. You don't have to worry about it. You have the .com. Everybody's going to reinforce it. And if you get to that, if you ever do get to that market, you'll have the money to buy them out or sue them or just create a new name in that market. It's not the end of the world, but it is a little bit to clean up. So if you really, really, really want to and you have money and it's an incredible name, sure, go ahead and start buying that stuff. But I wouldn't go too crazy because when the domain name registrar opens up, it's more important to get the trademark and to actually start operating because the way the world works is if you're operating in the market, you have sort of an inherent trademark and an inherent copyright to the work you're doing. You have some inherent amount of protection, generally speaking. But obviously get a lawyer. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. But yeah, sure, get the .net, get the .org if you can, get the .co certainly. You know, maybe get the .is, maybe get the .whatever us. You know, but if somebody wants to buy calacanis.something, I own like probably 10 of them, but I don't own 3,000 of them. If somebody wants to do calacanis.es and make a Spanish fan site about me, go ahead. You know, like it's not the end of the world. Get the .com, get the .co, get the .net, get the important ones, and then it flows from there. Domains are becoming less. I mean, you have to have a good domain. I know I always say that, but you don't have to own every domain. You know, you just have to have a good enough domain.
If could I ask you this?
Yeah.
If I think this website it may actually do better, say in Asia, like in South Korea or Japan. If I were to get a website over there, you think I should go for like just the .jp or the some countries have .co or .com and then the 2-letter country name?
If you're specifically going to go in those countries, you probably want to have both because they will go to that, but they will go to the .com as well. Correct, Tyler? I mean, Naver.com is.
Yes.
Oh, is it Naver? Daum.net. I mean, just as an example, in Korea, Daum.com is not the leading search engine, the number 2 search engine. It's Daum.net. So they actually have a .net as their like Yahoo, let's say, and then Naver.com is they're the Google of Korea, and it's Naver.com. Boom. So either one can work. The most important thing is that you have a good enough domain and a great idea with amazing execution. So don't get too caught up in all the domain stuff so much that you don't actually build a killer product that's designed really well. Get a good enough domain and start building a really minimum viable product, as you heard earlier in the program. That was a great question. Thank you, Curtis. And we'll see you down there and get some of that Cajun, get some of that good stuff down there.
Yeah.
Now that I'm talking, get some shrimp Creole. You got the shrimp Creole down there?
Oh yeah, it's Mardi Gras season right now.
What about the alligator? You got the gator down there?
Yeah, we got the gator.
That gator is. I was watching this gator hunter show on like Discovery. Anybody ever see that? Have you ever seen that? Like these people living out in the marshes and the swamps hunting gator. Do you know what I'm talking about, sir? Like.
That's fun.
These are like really like out in the boondocks, and they say these people are out there, and they are literally catching 8-foot alligators, pulling them up to the boat, taking out a shotgun or a rifle, and putting a bullet in their head, pulling them up on board. They got like 6 to 10-foot alligators in a rowboat. So the rowboat is almost underwater as they're pulling it along. It's awesome. And then they cut it up, and then they make it, and they put it in a Creole sauce, the gator, and they're talking. It's an American show. They have to subtitle it because the accents is so great. It's awesome. Somebody figure out what show that is, and I'll tweet it later. All right, I'll talk to you soon. You make me some of that gator, okay?
Okay, thank you a lot, Jason.
All right, cheers, bye. I love that. I want to have that gator. I would love to have some gator.
You have to wonder if he's making GatorJerky.com or something.
It's GatorJerky.com it's for Korea.
Because they love that gator.
Oh, that gator is good. All right, thank you, .co. Thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring the show. .co sponsoring the show. If you have a startup question or you want to be on the Shark Tank, just email AskJason@thisweekend. Be sure to Twitter us, follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/TWI-startups. TWI, get it this weekend, startups. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/TWI startups. youtube.com/TWI startups. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
That's what it's all about, man. They said money is the root of all evil. What? Funny how it feeds my people. We ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you. Yeah, money is the root of all evil. What? Funny how it feeds my people. Yeah, we ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you.